in the YouTube. Give me a second. And YouTube, I need to complete a task in YouTube. It's not working. That is part of the live. Okay, remember that this is hosted in YouTube and Instagram at the same time. So right now, I think that I solved the situation in the YouTube. Yes, YouTube is ready, and we also are ready here in the Instagram. So let's continue with the presentation of Angela Dopheide. I was telling you that Angela has a business called World Heaven Studio, where she designed, pre-configured, and flexible furniture layouts for different architecture firms related to workspace, education, and healthcare. Since she was a child, she loved writing, and in the last year, she has worked on this project in the publishing of this book, Stuck in the Jug, inspired by her experience as mother of two beautiful children. Today, we're going to meet and learn more about her life, her passions, and how she could write, illustrate, and self-publish her first children's book. And all of this for herself. So this is a good opportunity to meet an author and motivate reading. Let's share the camera with her. Let me send the invitation. Thank you, all of you that are joining in this, our first English live video. So Angela is with us. I am send you an invitation. And in few seconds, we have Angela sharing a screen with us and tell us her story. So Angela, let me know if you can join. Okay, I am waiting for that she accept our invitation. Okay, I invite Angela, I invite you again. Okay, I send you again the invitation. Let me check. And all of you that are joining this afternoon, I hope that you practice not only your English skills, but also enjoy with the story of Angela. Try to use your laptop or your phone instead of the. Okay, I noticed that you tried to call me, but if I said the call, the live stopped. Oh, but now it's working.
Hi.
Hi, Angela. How are you?
I'm doing well. Gotta love and hate technology.
Don't worry, they happen all the time, but it's part of the emotion, the excitement of the life. Hi, Angela. I did
Hi.
a little presentation about you before, but I try to keep brief and short because I want that you tell us who is Angela Dopheide, please.
Hi. Well, I am, like you said, I am a mom of two, and I do have my own interior design consulting company. And I mostly right now I'm doing some higher ed stuff and hopefully expanding it, but it's a good life balance. Um, and also, like you said, as I was younger, I really enjoyed writing, and I kind of reflected back on like maybe what some of my classmates might have mentioned or um, might have said in the past. I'm like, you know what? Why did I give that up? Let me give it a shot again. And so, and my inspiration was my daughter because she kept sticking her finger in her nose, and I kept saying, it's gonna get stuck up there, and she wasn't listening to me. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe. And with reading other children's book, I was kind of getting a little frustrated with how long they were, I'm like, come on, let's just wrap this story up. So I just started writing my notes and I'm like, okay, maybe this can go somewhere. And that's kind of how it progressed.
That is interesting how your child, your daughter, with this funny situation that all the children experience in that age, but that interesting moment uh, was possible to have this story alive. So that is interesting. Um, Also, I have my notes here because to avoid like my stuck with the English sometimes, but I'm trying to do my best.
Oh, you're doing wonderful.
Oh, thank you. I try.
I understand because when I try to do my Spanish, it's Spanglish.
Yes, that happens, and the both languages start like switching
Exactly.
when they don't need to switch. So
Also, just so the viewers know, my husband's from Venezuela originally, and so my kids are Venezuelan and American.
yes, that is so interesting. That also you have that experience that I talk a lot with my audience about raising bilingual children because you have also that
Hmm.
both language in at home. So you have the other side from the English side to the Spanish. Most of the audience have the Spanish side to the English. So this is
Exactly.
yes, and tell a little about that.
Okay.
How do you balance that English, that bilingual situation at home?
Well, basically, my husband speaks to the kids all in Spanish, and then I speak to the kids all in English. And so that's kind of what we do. And it's just interesting how the kids understand both so fast. They're like little sponges to where I understand what my husband's telling the kids. So then when they come to me, if he asks them directions, oh, go talk to mama, I understand what my kids are gonna be saying to me before they come.
Okay. That is awesome because all the research that and the studies that I did in this topic tell that children, if we expose that since babies, they are able to understand two or more language at the same time and know who parents talk in any language. So you are a real example of that investigations that I read a
Hmm.
lot. Excellent. So you talk a little about how the story come about. A situation with your daughter give you that inspiration. But you talk about also about the books. They're long books. Tell a little more about how the stories that you read to your children inspire you to create something different.
Well, I mean, we would be getting ready for bedtime, and like some of these books, like they've got gorgeous illustrations, but then it's like the verbiage is just so long. And I just noticed my daughter would kind of lose her attention span, and sometimes it'd be so many descriptive words and or adjectives, and it's just too much sometimes. And it's like things like that just need to be broken down a little bit. And maybe the book that I chose wasn't, it might have been for a little bit older of a kid, but regardless, it would just be so long. And it's like, come on, we need to cut to the chase here and like simplify things. And even as she gets older and trying to read, yeah, the pictures might be appropriate for that age group, but then it's just the reading style was not. It was way more mature on some of them. But yeah, a lot of the ones I kind of choose as like an inspiration or like the oh my blue truck. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, and maybe some of the little bit of the Dr. Seuss ones. But yeah, those are kind of my most recent go-tos because they have a nice rhythm to them and they're simple and they have nice illustrations.
Yes, you have a book full the rhyme, the rhythm, with rhymes, words, and it's interesting that it's not overwhelmed, but have like the just balance between the story, the kind of word or the amount of words in the paragraph, and the beautiful illustrations. So it's awesome how being a mother can change, inspire us in different situations. And you are telling us a little part of this process, how your experience with your children help you to be resourceful, yeah, and create something that you expect in the most of the books, and it's not the common rule in the book, right?
Right, actually, absolutely.
Yes. So, for you, in order to publish this book and to complete this project, you need to do a lot of research and learn a lot of skills, because you also illustrate your book by yourself and self-publish that. Can you tell us more about that?
So basically, kind of how it all started out, I started out with a piece of paper and had my story. And then I'm like, okay, let's see how this is going to flow. And I'm like, I researched another author that might have done the same thing. And so I watched her YouTube videos and her Patreon account, and just learned from her. And I got the book template and started going with at least the kind of the page layouts and stuff. And then I got stuck with the artwork. And that was a bit frustrating, to where I researched some local people of like I'm out of Nebraska. So I researched kind of like the writers community and seeing who I can maybe team up with doing some illustrations. I have a great amount of appreciation for the art, because of how it is so expensive to get an artist to end up joining with the book. I'm like, this for me is a hobby, or it's also going to be kind of a legacy for my children as they get older. I'm like, I can be resourceful here. And I spoke to some of my other art friends, and they're like, well, there's these apps out there. And I'm like, okay, with my background and a little bit of the interior design and using those kind of computer programs, I'm like, let me see what I can do. I'm like, I'm really good at taking photography, and I've got my subjects in my house. And so we just did one full photo session, and then I ended up, it was so much fun. The kids loved it. And I ended up taking them into an application, into an app, and kind of tweaked it through Photoshop and those kind of things. And that's kind of where the artistry came about. And then kind of figuring out the copyright, the ISBN numbers. Let's see what else we had. And then the publishing was really frustrating, because there's so many different companies out there that just want to basically rob you. I mean, you don't know which ones are right, which ones are good. And then you have the ones that are just so, excuse me, I have my children.
No problem. That is part of the life, and that is really, really fun. Don't worry.
And so, where was I going with this? So then the publishing part, I ended up looking into like what the other lady who I was following did through Ingram Sparks. And then I kind of followed that pattern. I'm like, you know what? I've gotten this far. I had another publishing company that was really interested in publishing the book. I mean, they did 50 Shades of Grey. They did some of the other popular ones, and they wanted to charge me $5,000 for it. I'm like, no, this is crazy. I've gotten this far. Let's do this. And so I just went forward with the Ingram Sparks, and they did all the distributing. It's now on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, and some of the other companies. Yeah. Sorry. I just was like, no, someone's going to get hurt. Sorry.
Don't worry, because that is part of the life. And, that leads with my next question. Hello.
Here.
It's a little one?
Yes, a little one. Here, you want to say hi? Here, let's say hi.
Say hi. Hello. How are you today? Mom is talking. Don't worry, because you told something interesting, that this book is also a family project, because the photo session was with their children, and they are there with you and sharing in some kind of way this interview also. So,
well, and also like everything in the book has some kind of meaning behind it. Like they're all the toys they played with. And I'm like, you know what, eventually they're not going to have those toys. So I'm going to have to probably donate them or do something with them. At least this kind of captures them in another way, opposed to me being a hoarder.
That is awesome. The creativity and inspiration with all those things and this part of the being a mother is super interesting.
Yeah.
Angela, uh, I have another question here for you. You told us a lot of what things you do to achieve this goal.
Yes.
And do you have plans to continue publishing books to creating more children books, or what are your plans for the future?
Well, when I started this process, of course, you have to look into the small picture and then the big picture. I'm just that type of personality. And I'm like, you know what? This one is about listening and about that sense of listening. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe in the big scheme of things, we can do the five senses. So what I like to do is create 4 more books. This next one that I'm actually currently working on is called Where's Wowo, using your vision of looking, and like the overall concept, I'm sorry, is Christian, please.
Maybe talk with Christian, talk a little with Christian to try.
Let's talk about Wowo.
Yes.
Can we talk about Wowo? You want to go find Wowo? Show them Wowo. Go get Wowo. And about putting our toys away. So that's kind of the next thing, because he's always losing Wowo, and it's his favorite stuffed dog. So that's the whole part of that one. So it's just finding these things that I've noticed, these quirks with my children, and based on those, keeping with the consistency of the 5 senses of it all, kind of being a holistic project and having a good moral story behind it that I feel most parents can cater, can acknowledge, can understand.
Yes, I like that you talk about that, because also when I read your book, I feel like a teacher. I notice all the important words that are here that can help with the phonics and the vocabulary, but also for other kids that maybe are fluent readers. Also, this story can help them with social and emotional learning, because there are a story behind a moral, a lesson that most of the children can experience and in this time, or even others, not only little ones. So I like that you also created the book thinking in that lesson for parents and for children as well. Um, what else? This in this moment, oh, it's almost the time fly,
I know, it
and
was so
I have.
fast.
Yeah, so fast, but I enjoy and I feel more comfortable with my English in this moment than in the beginning.
You're doing a wonderful job, and thank you so much for inviting me to do this. This is wonderful.
No, and I like it because I think that I have experienced how being the author can change the children's motivation for reading. For example, my other children, my children both, we met. I don't know if you know the author of the novel, and that author is very popular. He won some of the Sunshine State books here,
Oh,
the
wow.
award here, and have a kind of interesting book, and he illustrated books. When my children met the author, that changed how they read. They start reading and illustrating when before they read, but not in the same way. And the experience with the author was very, very important in their reading process. So for this reason, I like have you here. I have interviewed other 2 authors before, one for children books, one for books for parents. And I think that is important understand the story behind the author, because that is important for motivation. And in this moment, I want that you share your final thoughts. What do you want to share with us? Anything about your book, your life, or anything that you want to share and let our audience know in this moment?
I guess just in the end of all these books, it's more or less just take every moment because they're only this age for a small portion of time and then it'll be another phase. I just feel like once you learn one thing, it's like, oh man, I got to find something. How do I learn? I need to learn something else once I finally figured it out. Definitely keeps you on your toes, but it's just one of those things of, I guess, having patience and then realizing that you're not alone.
Yes, you're not alone. You say a beautiful phrase because all parents have these struggles, and here also we have the struggle with the language and the more the situation that we need to raise our children the best we can. So it's important join with other parents, use all the resources that are next to us to be the experience as parents the best possible, right?
Exactly.
Uh, Angela, I have enjoyed a lot having you this afternoon. Let's check if there are any questions from our audience, any comment. Everybody say hello. And if you have any question, don't be afraid. You can write in Spanish. Don't worry. If you have any question in Spanish, you also can do any of that. There is no questions there, but I like everything that you shared this afternoon, especially the portion that all the experience that you have with your books and your children's. And we experienced that in the same interview, how you need to be mother with them, right?
Yeah.
Any other thing that you want to share before leaving?
I guess I just want to say if you have something that's nagging at you to do it and see where it goes because that's what started this whole other journey for me. Like I said, I'm an interior designer, I'm a mom of two, and then decided to write this book. So you never know what's going to happen. So just keep moving forward. Always have something ahead of you.
Yes, I like your advice. It's beautiful because we need to be open to new challenge and new things to experience, and also to motivate our children to do the same.
Exactly.
Thank you, Angela. I enjoyed this afternoon with you and all the audience. This is our first live in English, but I expect to do more because this is a bilingual community and we need to expose our children and ourselves to both languages to be able to communicate our ideas and express our thoughts and why not write a book in the future. And I wait for all of you. I invite all of you the next week with a topic about it's the same learn English uh, uh, that learn academic subject like English language arts, math, social studies, science. Using English, that is one of the most challenging part when people that is from a Spanish culture or Spanish speaker try to learn English, but when they face all the academic subjects is a different story. So we will talk more about that in the next session. And Angela, I hope that in the future I can interview you again and you share another story with us.
That
Thank
would be
you
wonderful.
for
Thank
your
you. Thank you.
bye bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Ciao.